Shalom, shalom. Y'all good? I'm gonna go ahead and put y'all in my pocket so I can go ahead and get this thing going. First thing first, I'm gonna say our praise to Yahweh. I titled this One Plus One Stumbling Block. I should have put equal stumbling block for Israel. But I'm just gonna go ahead and get into this, y'all. This message is not for everybody. This message is for Torah Knights only. Now, if you feel like you want to get something out of this, that's totally on you. But I'm only speaking to my brothers right now. Stumbling block, there are aspects and things about us that we must separate. Now check this out. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the stumbling block. The big stumbling block that I've been looking at and I've been watching is gonna be the computer. I'm gonna equivalent this to math class. Okay, some of us who are a little bit older, we can reckon and reason with this a lot easier. When we was young and we was in school and it was Salakia, and they was teaching us math, we didn't have access to calculators. So, well, you know what that meant? That meant in order to learn how to do math, you had to know how to get down with that pencil and that piece of paper. If you didn't know how to use the pencil and the piece of paper and a scrap piece of paper and work out that problem, you didn't understand math. This is what I see going on. And I see this in Israel. And I'm not trying to bash anybody. What I'm simply trying to do is Torah Knights. This is something that we can't participate in, and I'm gonna show you why. Just walk with me. There's a lot of guys, what they're doing is this. You know, they're inspired, they wanna learn, they wanna get edified. Okay, you know, that's cool. So what they're doing is they'll go and they'll find an elder. You know, let's just say any elder. Let's just say we're just gonna use just GMS. Let's say they go to one of the elders of GMS, right? And they're trying to actually get edified. Well, this is what ends up happening. You'll see that elder or that brother, and what he'll be doing is he'll actually be, in order for you to see it, he's using Blue Letter, the app, the Bible app. This has become a stumbling block to Israel, and I'm gonna tell you why. Most of those brothers who you see who will pull up Blue Letter, they're already learned in the book. So you have to equivalent them kind of like the dude in math class. There's two different guys in math class. There's the guy who actually understands the process and how to work out the math problem. And then there's the guy who just knows how to grab the calculator. I'm starting to see some of that in Israel. And as far as Torah Knights, Israel is one thing. But when it comes down to Torah Knights, like, we have a standard to uphold. So we can't be a part of that. And, you know, I ain't trying to get all holy with you, but we do know that Torah says you'll be known, you know what I'm saying, your fruit of your labor. So if you still struggling scripturally, and I'm not bashing anybody who might be new, but I'm gonna be totally honest, bro. When you hold that title Torah Knight, that type of stuff, like, we're not supposed to do. Like, I want y'all to understand where I'm coming from. Am I saying it's a bad thing to pull up a scripture on the computer, on the internet? No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is in comparison, if that was a math problem, do you know how to work that math problem out? Because if you need to run to a computer, then that actually means you don't know how to work that problem out. If you need to run to a calculator, you don't know how to work that problem out. All right. How do we work out problems in the Torah? When people come, it's called precepts. The precepts that you should be holding and getting to learn, your precepts, that is the equivalent of you working the problem out. Here's the big problem I see. What brothers are doing is they're substituting their actual studying of the Torah to actually run to the computer to get computer precepts. I'm gonna tell y'all, man, this is a big stumbling block. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna speak from experience, guys. When I first got into the truth, I was all excited, all zealous, still zealous, probably more zealous than ever, but I was all zealous. You got that new feeling on you. So I was, I heard something, my mouth was shooting up the Torah. But I got to realizing my mouth could only shoot off so much. And I didn't actually know where to get this and how to back it all up. So what I would have to do, I would have to run on my phone, on my computer, and go pull up that scripture. Long for a while, it took me to start to understand that at that point in time, I was not as learned as other brothers. And I got, luckily, just my nature, and I tend to do things a little bit obsessively. So due to my nature, it led me and it compelled me to go learn more, to go study more. But if I had been one of those high-strung people who felt like I heard somebody say it, now I know it, all I got to do is run to the computer and say it in Google, pull up the scripture, and then start talking to somebody like I'm holy, that's some hypocrite bullshit. And this is a major, major stumbling block to Israel. Because I'm seeing this going on. See, what brothers are doing is you're watching other goodness, salak, and you're pulling up scriptures based on a mental picture of how to memorize scriptures like that. But when it comes down to learning them, you won't know how to do it. I'm gonna be totally honest. Torah nights, we should have a standard. Brother Judah talked about this. There's a standard you should have. And this is the standard. The standard you should have is, as a Torah night, the usual and most common Christian doctrine, you need to be able to open up your Torah and defeat that. Because let's be sincere. Let's be totally sincere. And I want you to be honest with yourself, because there's nobody you can lie to besides yourself. If a learned, and I'm going to say that word again, if a learned or a somewhat learned Jehovah's Witness or Christian knocks on your door with those scriptures, and let's say you have a hypothetical situation. Let's say the power goes out and your phone dies, and all you got in your hand is your Torah, and they got their KJV. Can you defeat them without having to go open up a phone, without having to go open up the computer? Because I'm gonna be totally honest. If you know you're that person who you literally can't afford for a somewhat learned Christian to walk up on you and tell you that, you're supposed to accept this and accept that and do this and do that, and this is the way it's supposed to be. If you can't open up that Torah, and I'm talking, in all due respect, I'm not saying you need to be a Torah scholar. I'm not saying you got to be the coldest person in the Torah ever. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is real simple. Do you have enough knowledge and within your memory to know exactly what to take them to dispel that doctrine? Because if you don't have that, I don't know. I don't know about a title. Because see, I'm gonna make it very clear. I'm a Torah night because I do my best when I do my best to learn that Torah, to go precepts and to get understanding. I'm not a Torah night because I know Judah Nazareth. That's just not how it is. I'm not a Torah night because I know Thom, because I know Z, I know Neg. I'm not a Torah night because of that. I'm a Torah night because I understand this myself. And I'm gonna say this again, y'all. Israel is struggling with this problem because Israel is looking at learned people. What a learned person is doing is they're going on Blue Letter and Bible Hub just because they don't want to hold the phone, open up the book, and be flipping through the book. It's easier for them to take it online. But those brothers are learned. This is the difference. So I'm going to say this again. Be sincere with yourself, because I'm going to tell you what's going on. You got brothers, this is what they've been doing. They're actually sitting behind a computer screen, and they're in a chat or their own platform, and you're sitting behind a computer screen and you're pulling up everything from a computer. I'm going to be the first one to tell you, you don't have the truth. What you have is the ability to pull up scriptures and say them. But having the truth is something totally different. And if you think you're in the truth because you know how to open up Bible Hub, pull up a scripture and read a precept at the bottom of the page, and you think you're in the truth, you're not. You're delusional. Because to me, people in the truth are people who do the work. Let me go ahead and say this now. I don't care who get offended. The surviving members of the Toranites, you are the Toranites. Those other guys, they was never the Toranites. It's only the surviving members, the ones who are zealous, the ones who bring out precepts. We bring out lessons. We gain understanding. You are the Toranites. The other guys, they are not the Toranites. And I'm going to be honest. If you're a computer Israelite, I'm going to say this again. If you're a computer Israelite, there's only so far that you're supposed to get. There's only so much information you're supposed to learn. Because remember, Esau Edom, his system is not set up for you to learn truth. His system is set up to mix the truth with lies. So you don't understand the difference. Now, I'm going to continuously keep saying this, Israel. I see guys, you know what they do? And I get this. And I'm not tooting my horn, and I'm not talking about in chat. I'm talking about in my life. I get guys, they see me bringing out scriptures and explaining them, and they looking at me like, wow, you know, they got this look like I'm something special. I'm not nothing special. All I did was kept the guideline. What's the guideline? Isaiah 28, verse 9 and verse 10. It tells you what you need to do. That is, renew your mind, take everything that was in your mind before and dump it. Israel, number 2. I want to get this clear. Watching Israelite videos and Israelite breakdown videos all day, that don't mean you're in the truth. That don't mean you're in the truth. I'm going to give you a prime example. Israel has this problem, and it goes back to what the brother was saying, monkey see, monkey do. Israel has this problem to where they see something and then they think, oh, I know it now. This is a big stumbling block. Let me go ahead and be the first one to make this known. I have no shame in saying this. Before I was officially in the truth, you know what I used to do when I watched them GMS videos? I wrote down all them scriptures they said, and I went back and checked just to see was they telling the truth. When I first started watching Torah Nights, I did the same thing to Judah. All the scriptures and stuff he brought out, I wrote it down, and I went and checked on it. See, what I'm trying to illustrate to you is this right here. Just watching videos alone is not enough to make you smarter. It is enough to inspire you and to maybe put a little information in your mind that wasn't there at first. But just because you watch the video does not mean you know it. You don't know it until you take from that video your notes and you take it upon yourself to continue studying it. When you continue studying it, cross-reference, find you at least 3 trustworthy sources, and you started studying from that point, then you got some kind of claim of saying what you know. Until then, you don't have a claim of what you know. You just have a claim of what you watched. So I'm going to say this now, and I'm going to forever hold this. Come Friday on TKR, you'll know who's really been in them scriptures. See, we had a beautiful TKR. last Friday. It was to the point to where you had brothers, 2 and 3 brothers speaking up. And one time I got the precept. Why? Because they've been studying and they've been in a book, not online, not on the internet, not watching people's breakdowns. There's nothing, let me make this clear. There's nothing wrong with watching breakdowns. But are you taking notes and studying? Are you taking the notes down and then going to find this out, look all this up for yourself? Because if you're not doing that, you can't exactly say you know. You know, and what's starting to happen is this right here. You got guys who are starting to claim knowledge and truth about stuff they have not even studied themselves. They've just watched somebody else break it down. And they feel like, oh, I know. Now I'm cool. No, you're not. You're at the beginning phases. But until you've took it, studied, applied yourself, try to find at least 2 or 3 different references. You might even get zealous enough to say, you know what? Let me go order a book about this. See, when y'all look at me, y'all see all them books. But I'm letting you know where them books come from? Those books come from something that I was studying, something that I wrote down, or scripture, and I got to thinking on it, and I tried to read up on it, and I felt like the information that was being presented to me wasn't enough. So I took a liberty of ordering a book. This is how I get a lot of my understanding. I get it out of the Torah first, and what the Torah don't tell me, then I'll resort to books. Only if they're still in agreement with the Torah. Once they become out of agreement, I don't deal with it. It's very simple. But Israel, I just want to, how much time I got left on this thing? Shalom, bro. Israel, I wanted to get this one out because there are a lot of brothers who are failing right now. And you're failing because what you've done is you've made the computer your calculator. And when it comes down to this type of math, your calculator should be the Torah. And your process of working out the problem should be the precepts you hold and you keep. What brothers have done, brothers have now become calculator smart with their computer. Oh, I can just pull up online and go to Bible Hub and find out a precept, and then I can say I got understanding. No, you don't. What you have is the ability to look it up, and you have the comprehension of knowing how to do it and the process. But understanding, you don't have it. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you why you don't have understanding. You don't have understanding because you do not meditate on your precepts. Very simple. And until you start to meditate on your precepts, you're not going to understand them. There are some of those. Like I said, Israel, man, Israel needs to get out of this calculator swag. Stop running to the computer to pull up scriptures and open up your Torah and read it. Very simple. Like I said, you can tell the brothers who are really actually trying to learn. I'm gonna say this again, there's nothing wrong with using a computer if you want faster access to pull up that scripture versus going through your book. There's nothing wrong with that. But the reality is do you even understand what's going on? Because I'm gonna say this, but I'm gonna just drop it like I said. There was an ex-Torahnite who fell out, and every now and then he features a dude to come on his channel. And he calls the dude, even though the dude's got some good intentions, I ain't gonna throw your name out, but I gotta call you out for what you're doing. He actually calls this dude Fire Mouth. And the brother brings out some nice water with certain understanding, but his problem is that he's got like a salary cap. See, there's only so much he can bring out because every time he's only using a computer. And what he's doing is this. He's going to Bible Hub, and then you're reading every precept on Bible Hub. That's not giving you understanding, bro. Because I ain't gonna even put out the name of the show. I'm finna go ahead and end this because my phone finna die. I ain't gonna put out the name of exactly what show. but on the X Tour Nights page. But you can actually listen, and you will actually hear every time he goes. If you listen, you can hear his finger keep on hitting the space bar to pull up the different scripture. And you know what he did on accident? He was actually reading precepts that had nothing to do with what he was talking about. And if anybody wants to know it, if anybody just message me privately and I'll let you know. This dude is literally reading precepts that have nothing to do with the scriptures he's explaining. And this is how I knew 100% for a fact it was on Bible Hub and no real understanding. With that, I just want to say Shalom, Kah Hala Yahweh.